Hi guys, today's poetry analysis is going to be of War Photographer by Caroline Duffy. So, some context on Caroline Duffy. Duffy was born on the 23rd of December 1955 in Glasgow, Scotland, to Mary Black and Frank Duffy, both of Irish Catholic descent. She had 4 younger brothers. She was raised in Staffordshire in the West Midlands of England, where her father worked as a fitter with English Electric. So Duffy has dramatic characters and narrative. Voice with sharp edge of wit and social critique characterised Duffy's early work, while her recent collections have wrestled more directly with dark and tangled themes of love. So obviously we're looking at war today within War Photographer. So the poem was published in 1985 before the digital age, and that's quite important, particularly when we get into looking at the poem. So in this poem, Duffy references several wars together. She doesn't just focus on one. And even though they're in separate locations, different times, and caused by different elements, the photographer, the speaker in the poem, has visited all of these places and become numb to the suffering and the reasons behind it. So some of the wars here that are mentioned: Belfast with the Northern Ireland conflict, Beirut, Lebanese civil war, and Phnom Penh, where the Cambodian civil war took place. So these are just some of the wars that she does mention. Okay, so on to stanza 1. In his dark room he is finally alone, with spools of suffering set out in ordered rows. The only light is red and softly glows, as though this were a church and he a priest preparing to intone a mass. Belfast, Beirut, Phnom Penh, all flesh is grass. Okay, so the themes of this poem are war, numbness, media, suffering, and death. There is regular sestets, which are 6-line stanzas, and it could suggest the repetitive job that has become numbing, and that same monotony can be seen in the ABBACC regular rhyme scheme. Okay, so starting off in his dark room. So as I said, this was before the digital age. So the speaker is developing his photos in a dark enclosed space with only a red light. And if we're looking at colours and connotations, this red light could be connoting death and blood. He's finally alone, so he's been surrounded by hundreds of people while out at war, and the contrast is overwhelming to be back. You've got Okay, so now we have the one-word sentences listing cities that were places of war that he has been to. And then we finish with this all flesh is grass metaphor, which kind of connotes that humans are transient and will go back into the ground and the earth, and it's kind of dehumanizing people there. Okay, moving on to stanza 2. He has a job to do. Solutions slop in trays beneath his hands, which did not tremble then, they'll sing to now. Rural England, home again, to ordinary pain, which simple weather can dispel, to fields which don't explode beneath the feet of running children in a nightmare heat. Okay, so the short sentence is given a quite abrupt tone. He has a job to do. He can't let the emotions get the better of him. You have a caesura there in the middle, which emphasises that first sentence. There's 2 meanings of solution slop in trays. Firstly, depicting the liquid used to develop the photographs, but could also suggest solutions for war. The verb tremble shows vulnerability. The pictures are developing, are reminding him of the tragic events that he captured while he was away. Rural England creates an image of countryside, safe, peaceful, calmness. This is his home. This is where he goes back to. However, this is then juxtaposed between his life where good weather can make his problems disappear, with the bombs exploding on the ground of children where he has been previously. The last reference here, running children in a nightmare heat. That's actually a reference to a famous picture from the Vietnam War of a young girl running because she's been gassed. And the metaphor nightmare heat just connotes excruciating pain and tragic images. Stanza 3. Something is happening. A stranger's features faintly start to twist before his eyes, a half-formed ghost. He remembers the cries of this man's wife, how he sought approval without words to do what someone must, and how the blood stained into foreign dust. Something is happening is a short sentence. You have a caesura there as well, creating immediacy and tension. There's a turn here, almost a volta. The metaphor, the man's face is slowly coming back to him, a half-formed ghost, but it could also suggest that the distress and fear of war has half destroyed his soul. He's only half the man that he was. This sought approval without words, and someone must. He believes that the world needed to see the consequences of war, so you've got this imperative must. Approval without words, it could suggest that they also believed that the photographer had to do what he was doing and believed that the picture was imperative in order for circumstances to change. The blood stained into foreign dust could refer to the blood of the couple. It also leaves the stanza with a shocking image and realisation of the aftermath of war. Stanza 4. 100 agonies in black and white, from which his editor will pick out 5 or 6 for Sunday's supplement. The reader's eyeballs prick with tears between the bath and pre-lunch beers. From the aeroplane he stares impassively at where he earns his living, and they do not care. So you've got enjambment here, and the expectation is disrupted, and it's emphasising the pain and suffering to be shown in such small detail on one day. So he's collected all of these photographs of people in agony, and agony meaning extreme pain, and then an editor is just going to pick out 5 or 6 for Sunday's supplement. Pick out seems really informal and dehumanising. The editor will most likely look for the pictures that will make the most impact and sell the most newspapers. Then you've got the reader's eyeballs prick between the bath and pre-lunch beers. So it's privileged readers will be saddened, but then will just go back to their daily life. And it's criticising how society do turn a blind eye to global conflict and don't see what they could do in order to help. You've got the alliteration, the b sound between the bath and the pre-lunch beers. It's kind of the speaker's anger and resentment by the outcome, that this is his life and this is how it goes. The adverb impassively, he has become emotionless, as it may help him do the job now. He can't deal with the emotion, he can't deal with both of them together. So if he wants to carry on earning a living in this way, he has to become numb to the happenings and the sights that he sees. He earns his living and they do not care. They is a bit ambiguous here. It could be the editors of the newspaper, or it could be society as a whole. So the speaker is criticising society and asking the reader to question how they could view war in a different way. Okay, thank you very much for listening. If you have any comments or any other ideas, please don't hesitate to put a comment below. Thank you very much.